Good afternoon. Thank you for being with us here on Live Now from Fox. I'm Stephanie Weaver, reporting out of Los Angeles, bringing you this developing story. Authorities were dispatched to the scene of a shooting at a church in Laguna Woods today. The circumstances leading up to the incident were not immediately known. The Orange County Sheriff's Department deputies were dispatched to the scene at Geneva Presbyterian Church on El Toro Road at around 1:25 Pacific time. Deputies disclosed that a suspect had been detained at the scene and a weapon recovered. 6 people were struck by gunfire, one of whom suffered fatal wounds and died at the scene. 4 of the other victims are said to be critically wounded, and 1 suffered minor injuries. Multiple injuries have been reported, and paramedics with Orange County Fire Authority were working to treat victims at the scene and transport those who required further care. Reports are that a press conference is scheduled to start in 10 minutes from now here on Live Now from Fox, bringing you raw, unfiltered, and nonstop news from all across the nation to get the latest on this press briefing. And thank you all for being with us here on Live Now from Fox, where we continue to provide raw, unfiltered, and nonstop news from all across the nation. As you can see, a press conference is scheduled to begin in less than 10 minutes from now. 1 dead and 5 others injured at a church in Orange County, California, and we will have the latest for you here on Live Now from Fox. And we appreciate your viewership here on Live Now from Fox, where we continue to bring raw, unfiltered, and nonstop news from all across the nation. A press conference is scheduled to begin in just moments, and we will have that press conference for you here on Live Now from Fox. 1 person was killed and 5 others were injured after a shooting at a church in Laguna Woods this afternoon, according to the Orange County Sheriff's Department.
Travis, turn your mic on. Travis, turn your mic on. Talk, test. Do you need me to post it? Yes. You're going to post. You're coming to 4. No. Oh, okay. How many can go on there? It's going to get top. I have some change. My buddy does next.
I get it for sure.
He started usually like 3 months ago,
Hi, this is Karen. I live pretty close. I live in Michigan. Yeah, I'm on the couch. I'm not.
And thank you for being with us here on Live Now from Fox, where we continue to bring raw, unfiltered, and nonstop news from all across the nation. We are just about moments away from a press conference starting about the Orange County church shooting that happened today. 1 dead, 5 others injured in the shooting at an Orange County church. 1 person was killed and 5 others were injured after a shooting at a church in Laguna Woods Sunday afternoon, according to the Orange County Sheriff's Department. This press conference is scheduled to start in just a couple minutes, so we will stay on this coverage for you here on Live Now from Fox. The shooting happened shortly before 1:30 p.m. today at the Geneva Presbyterian Church, according to the Orange County Sheriff's Department. 1 person was pronounced dead at the scene. 5 others were shot, according to deputies. 4 with critical injuries and 1 with just minor injuries. According to deputies, all the victims are adults and all of them have been transported to the hospital. Minutes after the initial reports, the department reported that 1 person had been detained and that deputies had recovered a gun that may have been involved in the shooting. And crews on the scene, the Orange County Fire Authority said it had crews at the scene transferring multiple people to the hospital. El Toro Road has been closed between Calle Sonora and Calle Ren while police continue to investigate. And this press conference is just moments away, where we will get updated information on this shooting, coming on the heels of another shooting earlier with the supermarket shooting in Buffalo, New York. Also yesterday, the Milwaukee shooting that left 17 injured and 10 in custody. So we continue to bring breaking news here on Live Now from Fox. This press conference just moments away from starting, so I'm going to up this volume so we can listen in here on Live Now from Fox. But thank you all for being with us for this extended coverage here on Live Now, because that's what we do here on Live Now from Fox. We continue to bring raw, unfiltered, and nonstop news from all across the nation. This press conference just moments away from starting here on Live Now and bringing it to you raw and unfiltered.
Can you hear me? Can you talk into the microphone, ma'am? Sure. Sound check. Can you guys hear me? How's the sound for everybody? Good? What did I drop? Oh, they're a lot taller than me. I don't hear anything now. They're pretty tall. So I wouldn't measure it to me because we're talking about, right? Like, but yeah, we're more like your size.
Right here. Thanks, buddy.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Everyone good? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Good? Good?
Thanks.
Who needs a mic check? Anybody? Give me a thumbs up if you need a mic check. All right.
Does anybody else need a sound check? They're coming. So, hear me? How's the sound for everybody? Yeah.
How did Mike get
Mikey.
Yeah, we're expecting this conference right now. We have, you guys off the side, about a dozen officials. Yeah, we're on the side right now. Off the sidewalk, please. Thank you.
You guys gonna have to
I need as long as I can. I promise when someone comes in like, all right, I'll go down to the side.
We'll do spellings after.
Spellings after.
Spellings after. So just
Spellings
make
after.
corrections right now, and we have a sheet for you with spellings and names. All right, so.
Okay, good afternoon. My name is Sergeant Scott Stanley. I'm the Public Information Officer for the Orange County Sheriff's Department. First of all, we'd like to just let the public know that our hearts reach out to those affected by this tragic event. For today's press conference, the following speakers will be in this following order. First is Jeff Halleck, Undersheriff, Orange County Sheriff's Department. Brian Bennessy, Fire Chief, Orange County Fire Authority. Christy Johnson, Assistant Director in Charge, FBI Los Angeles. Stephen Galloway, Assistant Special Agent in Charge, ATF, Los Angeles. Lisa Bartlett, Orange County Board of Supervisors, 5th District. And Carol Moore, Laguna Woods Mayor. We will take questions at the conclusion of this press conference. Good afternoon. First and foremost, I want to send our thoughts and prayers to all those that were impacted by this incident. This is a very tragic incident for the victims, their families, and this entire community. I want to start by asking for your patience. Also, as you know, this is an active investigation that's been going on for less than 4 hours. Our investigators are still diligently processing the scene, so we're here to provide as much information as we can at the time. But again, just I ask for your patience, and please understand that we're working as quickly as we can to have more details and the information that you're looking for. At about 1:26 p.m. this afternoon, a male subject opened fire here at the Geneva Presbyterian Church in the city of Laguna Woods. One person is confirmed deceased at the scene. 4 others are critical, and 1 other victim sustained minor injuries. The injured victims were taken to local hospitals. We currently do not have a status of the injured 4 that are in critical condition. When deputies arrived on scene, they provided immediate medical aid to the victims here at the church. Shortly after, our partners from the Orange County Fire Authority arrived on scene and began providing advanced medical life-saving measures. We're very grateful to the Orange County Fire Authority for their quick response and their ability to provide critical life-saving treatment. The incident happened at a lunch banquet following the morning service. And again, to remind you, this is all very preliminary information. We believe a group of churchgoers detained him and hogtied his legs with an extension cord and confiscated at least 2 weapons from him. He was detained when the deputies arrived. That group of churchgoers displayed what we believe is exceptional heroism and bravery in intervening to stop the suspect. They undoubtedly prevented additional injuries and fatalities. The suspect was not injured during the incident, was taken into custody. He's believed to be an Asian male adult in his 60s. We don't believe he lives in this area. Investigators are working to determine his city of residence and whether he has any connection to this church or to the congregation. At this time, we do not know what the suspect's motive may be or whether he had an intended target or whether this is even a hate-related incident. Following the incident, the Sheriff's Department Hazardous Device Section utilized bomb canines and swept the church grounds to ensure there were no secondary devices. Members from the Trauma Intervention Program also are on scene to provide crisis counseling to the congregants.
OCFA resource and responded as part of a potential MCI, a mass casualty incident, as part of the active shooter response. Resources included multiple firefighter paramedic units, our specialized mass casualty unit, private ground ambulances, and a helicopter air ambulance. An MCI was declared and our firefighter paramedics quickly triaged, treated, and transported 5 patients, as the undersheriff said, 4 critical and 1 minor status, and 1 victim was pronounced deceased at the scene. In addition, OCFA chaplains responded to the church and the hospitals. We also have started our critical incident distress debriefing for our OCFA first responders. Our hearts are with the victims, their families, and our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Under Sheriff Malik and Chief Hennessy. Good afternoon. My name is Christy Johnson, and I'm the Assistant Director in charge of the FBI's Los Angeles Field Office, which has jurisdiction here in Orange County and throughout the area. First of all, my sincerest condolences to the families and the victims here today, and also a really a heartfelt thank you to the congregants who were very brave today in their actions. We arrived today as we would in response to any report of a mass shooting. The FBI responded to offer resources as needed to our partners here at the Orange County Sheriff's Department. Currently, we have investigators working with the Sheriff's Department who are taking logical investigative steps. Obviously, motive is always the question, which determines the extent of involvement at the federal level, or whether federal or local prosecution is pursued. And at this time, we are working very hard to determine the motive. We will continue to provide resources, regardless of the motive, as needed by the Sheriff's Department to deliver justice to the victims. We have linguists who are going to arrive soon to assist. We have our evidence response team who is on standby, and we also have our behavioral analysis unit present on scene. And again, on behalf of the FBI, our heartfelt condolences to the victims and their families. Thank you.
Good afternoon. On behalf of the men and women of ATF, I want to send my sincere condolences to the victims, the families, and the community that's been affected by this tragedy. Upon receiving reports of the shooting, agents from our Santa Ana field office responded to the scene immediately to provide assistance to the Orange County Sheriff's Department. Since the scene has been secured, our agents have initiated an emergency trace on the recovered firearms. Those traces are currently in progress and will be thoroughly investigated once they're complete. ATF will continue to work in close tandem with our law enforcement partners until this investigation is completed. Nothing further at this time. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Orange County Supervisor Lisa Bartlett, 5th District. Today is a very dark day for the people of Laguna Woods and Orange County, and our thoughts and prayers are with all those affected by this senseless tragedy. Just a day after the tragic and hate-filled actions that led to the senseless deaths of Americans, the Tops Friendly Markets in Buffalo, New York, we too are now dealing with people shot in their place of worship here in Laguna Woods. I'd like to thank Sheriff Don Barnes and the heroic actions of our Orange County Sheriff's Department and deputies who were able to bring the perpetrator swiftly and securely on the site. I'd also like to thank Chief Hennessy of the Orange County Fire Authority to attending to the victims of this senseless tragedy. To the church congregants impacted by the violence that took place here today, we are here for you and we will seek justice for you. To the perpetrator of such heinous acts, our county will work to ensure justice for the victims. As 5th District Supervisor, I am making sure that our county's mental health counselors are available for the victims and their families of today's shooting. I want to thank the Orange County Healthcare Agency Department for being so quick to respond to the needs of our citizens. And to the citizens of Orange County, please know that we will continue to have my unwavering support to ensure the safety and security of all of the residents here in Orange County. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Carol Moore. I want to thank those people who were wise enough to take action and endanger themselves to save others in that church. That is so impressive. Our thoughts are to all the members of that congregation and their families. And I think that we have to thank, and I know we do thank, the City of Laguna Woods is so pleased. The cities nearby immediately contacted it and wanted to support us. It was so outstanding to have that happen. On top of that, we have all these first responders. Please look at these people that are providing our safety. Our fire department, our sheriff's department, the FBI, the ATF. We're so thankful. Thank you for taking the time to cover this properly.
All right, this time we'll take any questions you may have.
So how many arms were recovered?
I'm sorry?
How many arms were recovered?
2 firearms were recovered at the scene.
What kind of firearms were they? Were they handguns, rifles?
2 handguns.
Hey, Jeff, can you talk a little bit about how quickly this transpired, how quickly these parishioners intervened? Like, can you describe how they said their actions were criminal?
Yeah, so the question was how quickly this unfolded. We don't have that information. The dispatch call came in at about 1:26 p.m. Deputies were here within minutes, and by the time we arrived, the parishioners had the subject hogtied and in custody. So this happened really quickly.
Jeff, do you know if anyone was injured in the process of doing that? Was he able to get any more shots off? Anything else?
That's still part of the active investigation. And like I said earlier, we have 5 that were injured, 4 critically. Obviously, we're saddened to say that one is deceased, but we're still working through kind of the details and how it unfolded.
Is the number of the guns particularly purchased?
We don't have that information. That will be part of the investigation.
Did any congregants recognize the assailant?
That's still part of the investigation. There were a number of witnesses inside, about 30 to 40 that investigators are interviewing now. And so until we get through all of those interviews and that information, we won't really have a good idea if he was known to the congregants.
Do we know if there was any specific language spoken or said anything that connected him to them?
Not at this time. That's stuff that there's no more.
Can you speak to, you said he had 2 weapons. Did he have any more ammunition with him? And can you speak to how important it was that these folks actually took a stand and tried to stop him? It could have been a different story that we're talking about.
That's correct. I can't speak to exactly where the weapons were, if we had any additional ammunition. Again, that's part of the investigation. But as I said a little bit earlier, based on the preliminary investigation and the interviews, it does seem that one or more of the congregants did act quite heroically and jumped in and tried to do what they could to subdue the suspect immediately.
Was he attending the service before, or did he show up to the luncheon after the fact?
Those details, I'm not sure.
Have you identified the suspect?
I don't know the answer.
What about surveillance footage? Was there surveillance footage inside the church?
We don't know, but if there is, that's something that investigators will get to as quick as can and be able to review that.
Do we know if the victims...
Is there a reason that, is there any consideration? Is that what the FBI is involved?
Absolutely. That's that all goes to the motive, and that's those things we're working through, so we won't have answers to that.
Is there any difference in the race between the shooter and the victims or religions?
Again, we're still working through all of that.
Can we relay time? He's a 68-year-old man. Is that correct? Is he 68 years old and returned from Las Vegas?
We're not identifying him. All we'll say is it's a male. But no information on age or date of birth.
Do we know if the victims were, if the victims are among those who tried to detain him? In other words, do we know if some of the victims were?
There was 30 to 40 people in there. Obviously, we had the 5 people that were injured and the one that was deceased. Again, whether they were the ones that were actually trying to detain him, I can't answer that. There's a lot of interviews. We're still only 3.5, 4 hours into this active investigation. It just takes time to work through it. So again, I just ask for your patience with some of the details.
Can I ask a question on the ATF? You had mentioned the phrase emergency tracing on the firearms. What is that and what does that give you?
So our National Tracing Center, which is located in West Virginia, we send the information on the serial numbers that goes to the tracing center and provides us with results. What I mean by emergency trace, it's a emergency situation, right? It's not a routine trace. So we'll get that information back hopefully within the hour, and then our agents will start tracking down the federal firearms licensee who sold that firearm and hopefully trace it back to the original purchaser.
Do you need ballistics and the serial number?
No, specifically the serial number off the firearm.
Do these guns have serial numbers?
So they're not ghost guns?
the information I have is commercially made firearms with serial numbers.
Can you give an age range for the victims? Sorry.
Can you tell us if both firearms were fired?
We don't know that yet.
Can you tell us how much ammo they have?
No, we're identifying everybody as adults at this point. So until we can confirm everything.
For the linguists, are they? Is that for the assailant? Is that for victims or congregation members?
That's
the linguists
for both.
For both.
For both.
Can you tell us if any leaders of the church were injured?
I cannot. I don't know. The people that were injured, I don't know what their responsibilities were here.
Do we know how many shots were fired?
I do not. Again, still working through all those.
No children were inside the church when this happened.
I'm sorry?
No children were inside when this happened.
That I'm not sure of if there were. I'm not aware of any children that were here.
Do you know roughly how
much? This was a Taiwanese congregation honoring one of their holy pastors.
I cannot. I know it was some type of banquet after the service, but as far as exactly what the banquet was for, who they were honoring, I don't have that information.
Can you characterize his demeanor once your deputies took custody of him?
I have not spoken to the deputies, so I know he was in custody and he was hogtied and immediately, taken and detained by the deputies.
Was he part of the banquet, or did he just come in or storm in kind of thing?
We don't know that.
You know how much ammo he had left, and if these folks hadn't intervened so early, I mean, how much worse it's going to be based on what he had on him?
I don't know what he may have had or if he had any additional ammunition, but I think it's safe to say that had people not intervened, it could have been much worse. There was 30 to 40 people inside the church.
Do you happen to know if the subject walked into the church, or did he drive here? Is there a vehicle involved?
That's part of the investigation that we're working through.
Jeff,
So.
why would they start searching for bombs? Had there been threats, or is that just
Just based on the activity and how the shooting occurred, we just want to make sure that it's safe for everybody. So.
Is he going to be in federal court or state court?
Well, we're still in the investigative phase, and so we'll review the case and decide based on motive and the information that we get whether we present it to prosecuted state or federal.
The biggest question: has there been any recent threats to the church or anything?
Not that I'm aware of. But again, remember, we're only 4 hours into this. There's a lot of people to interview. It's a very detailed and diligent investigation. So we will put out more information this evening, whether it's through social media or a written press release, and you can anticipate another press conference probably early tomorrow morning.
Was the assailant a non-native English speaker?
I don't have that information.
All right, ladies and gentlemen,
Right.
I think we know there's a lot more questions than answers. We're going to do everything we can. So as the Undersheriff said, we'll have an update for you tonight. Social media or a press release and a press conference expected tomorrow, and we'll announce that on our Twitter page. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
We do have a list of speakers over here, written out names. If anybody wants to grab one, or you can write it down and take a photo. I'm sorry, we're working on Spanish. We have 11 minutes, okay? And media, please don't cross the line.
And thank you for being with us here on Live Now from Fox, where we continue to bring raw, unfiltered, and nonstop news from all across the nation. We were just giving you an updated press conference on this Orange County church shooting that has left one person dead and at least 5 others injured. During this press conference, we did get some updated information. They did say that the numbers still stand as is from earlier today, just 4 hours ago. 1 dead, at least 5 others injured. Of those 5 injured, 4 are in critical and 1 has minor injuries. They said that this is an active investigation. They are still processing the scene. They said multiple times to be patient, as this just happened 4 hours ago. They did mention that the deputies were there within minutes. They believe this to be an Asian American adult, the suspect in his 60s. Not aware what was the motive or if this was a hate-related incident. They are still working through what that motive is and if this was racially targeted or a hate-related incident. There were 2 firearms that were recovered from the scene, 2 handguns, and that is some of the information that was coming through on this press conference. Authorities dispatched from the scene, they said at about 1:26 Pacific time, so right around what was reported earlier today. The circumstances leading up to the incident are still not immediately known, though the Orange County Sheriff's Department deputies said they were dispatched to the scene at Geneva Presbyterian Church on El Toro Road around 1:26 local time. Deputies disclosed that a suspect had been detained at the scene and at least 2 firearms were recovered. 6 people were struck by gunfire, one of whom had suffered those fatal wounds and died at the scene. 4 of the other victims are said to be critically wounded, and 1 had suffered minor injuries. Now, multiple injuries have been reported, and paramedics with Orange County Fire Authority were working to treat the victims at the scene and transport those who required further care. So this is just some of the information coming to you from this updated press conference. They did say that there will be a press release released later this evening, and also an updated press conference tomorrow as well with new information that comes through. But 1 person has been killed and 5 are injured in Orange County, California, in Laguna Woods. 1 person killed, 4 others injured. The shooting happened shortly before 1:30 Pacific time today at the Geneva Presbyterian Church, according to the Orange County Sheriff's Department, and 1 person was pronounced dead at the scene. Again, the deputies saying 4 victims critically wounded, 1 with minor injuries, and according to the deputies, all the victims are adults and all were transported to the hospital, and they arrived within minutes. These reports, and during this press conference, they were saying that they were there within minutes and they were able to tie down the gunman. The department reported that 1 person had been detained and that the deputies had recovered 2 guns from the scene. Orange County officials say the shooter is believed to be a man in his 60s, possibly Asian American, and they don't believe he lived nearby. They don't know whether he attends the service or not. That is still on and up for investigation, but officials say the shooting occurred at a lunch event at the church after the morning service, and the congregates restrained and hogtied the shooter before even first responders could arrive, even though that was within minutes. And according to the Orange County Sheriff, about 40 people were inside the church at the time of the shooting. Police are still investigating a motive for the shooting. They did not say during this press conference if the man was in the church and in the congregation at the time when the shooting happened. They are still investigating that. California Governor Gavin Newsom tweeted out a statement today saying that the governor's office is working closely with law enforcement as well. No one should have to fear going to their place of worship, Newsom's statement said. He also said, quote, "Our thoughts are with the victims, community, and all those impacted by this tragic event." And Sunday's shooting just comes 1 day after a man killed 10 people at a supermarket in Buffalo, New York, in what officials are investigating as a racially targeted hate crime. And back in February, a man shot and killed 5 people, including his daughters, at a church in the Sacramento area. And this press conference happening pretty quickly, not a lot of information, but they did say this happened just 4 hours ago, so to be patient, and that they will have another press conference tomorrow with more information. But just wanting to bring you the latest here on Live Now from Fox. From this press conference, 1 dead, at least 5 injured in this shooting in Orange County, California. Thank you all for being with us here on Live Now from Fox. I'm Stephanie Weaver, reporting out of Los Angeles, bringing you raw, unfiltered, and nonstop news, and bringing you the latest on this church shooting out of Orange County, California. At least 1 person dead and at least 5 injured.
And tell me what brings you and your family out here.
Well, we were out running errands, and we were listening to the news as we drove, and we heard about the shooting, and I said, did they just say Laguna Woods? And she said, I think they did. And we looked it up, and we couldn't believe it was on our way home. And it's just, you never hear about this type of thing in your own area. Yeah.
Yeah, wow. And so
one person is deceased and 4 others shot, but the parishioners hog-tied the gunman and saved a lot of lives doing so.
Which is incredible. We were talking to some of the girls in the coffee shop, and they told us that the parishioners had managed to overcome the man. I don't know how they did that.
Yeah, but there were 30 or 40 parishioners in there, so if they hadn't done that, we don't know what today might have looked like.
Well, what kind of, what was he armed with? Was it an automatic weapon, or was multiple handguns? Oh, so he had more fire capability then.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of details about the fire capability, but I know there were multiple guns.
Well, so it sounds like they stopped him from taking more lives.
Yeah, what's your reaction to that?
Oh.
It's very relieving.
Yeah.
It's very relieving and, I mean, just crazy. Like, I mean, there were 40 people, so that definitely helped a lot, I think.
But they were unarmed,
still, like,
I believe.
It's so good that there were, like, those people there today, because, I mean, one person must have started it, and then everybody was like, okay, we're going to help.
Yeah. Well, it also is a good reminder of the power of a group of people, because, you know, there have been so many tragedies where people haven't acted, right?
Yeah.
And so many people. But there were some cases, like in Europe several years ago, the soldiers on the train, right? And they managed to overcome a guy, oh my God, and he had an automatic weapon.
Yeah. Anything else you want to say?
And thank you for being with us here on Live Now from Fox, where we continue to follow this breaking news story, talking to some witnesses in the area, talking with some reporters, talking with some people on the street about this, as you can see. But once again, that press conference just happened. 1 dead and at least 5 others injured in this. It is still an active investigation, as it just happened 4 hours ago, and they are still processing the scene. Deputies arrived to the scene within minutes. They believe this to be a man in his 60s, potentially Asian American adult, not aware what the motive is or if this was a hate-related incident. 2 firearms were recovered from the scene, and that is just some of the information that we were gathering from this press conference that just happened. Of course, there will be more information out tomorrow. They said that there will be a press conference tomorrow as well. Did not give an updated time on that, but you know what we do here on Live Now from Fox. We continue to bring breaking news when it happens, so make sure to follow us here on Live Now from Fox throughout the week as we have more information on this. We will bring that to you here on Live Now from Fox tomorrow with that updated press conference. But once again, 1 dead and at least 5 others injured, 4 in critical and 1 with minor injuries, and authorities were dispatched to the scene of the shooting at the church in Laguna Woods on Sunday. Circumstances leading up to the incident are not immediately known. They are still looking into that, but what they could gather is that the man was from out of town, not in the area, and the Orange County Sheriff's deputies were dispatched to the scene at Geneva Presbyterian Church within just minutes, around 1:25 p.m. local time today. Deputies disclosed that a suspect was detained at the scene and a weapon was recovered. They are talking about 2 firearms, 2 handguns, in fact, that were recovered, and 4 of the victims are said to be critically wounded, 1 suffering minor injuries. Multiple injuries have been reported, and paramedics with Orange County Fire Authority were there treating the victims at the scene and transported those who required further care. Again, that press conference just happening moments ago, giving some updated information, but what we do know is 1 dead and at least 5 others injured. Still an active investigation. They said to be patient, as this just happened 4 hours ago, and that they will have an updated press release tonight and an updated press conference tomorrow. Thank you for being with us here on Live Now from Fox. We are going to be ending our YouTube stream, but we'll continue to put this press conference on our overnight playlist so you can watch it once again, and we will have other headlines from all across the country, including that updated press conference from earlier today with the Buffalo shooting that claimed the lives of 10 individuals. That suspect also in custody. Thank you for being with us here on Live Now. I'm Stephanie Weaver. Have a great evening, everyone.
O'Connor. They're using ARP funds to modernize the city's fire prevention capacity, including with new fire vehicles. In Toledo, Ohio, Mayor Wade is using the ARP funds not only to avoid layoffs, but to add 100 police officers in the next few years. In Mercer County, Pennsylvania, a county I know, largely rural, we're the largest town and is home of 16,000 people. The county commissioner is here, Timothy McGonigal. Timmy was, I shouldn't call you, excuse me for calling you Timmy.
No, they all call me that.
I've always called you that. We're talking about, I grew up with Michael McGonigal, was one hell of an athlete. Anyway.